Meeting of the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust will be in order. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the January 18th meeting. Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Are there comments or questions, additions, corrections? Voting, please. Minutes are approved. The next item is a consent docket.
Move the consent docket subject to individual consideration.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the consent docket. Are there matters to be done separately?
Just a quick question, Mr. Chairman. On number one, it's the a relief line project in actually Quail Creek, and I was curious as to when that might be scheduled. I know it's going out for advertising, and approximately how long will that take, the process?
This will be an unusual contract in its timeline, so Mr. Samandi will help us with that.
Yeah, we expect the project to be finished up in about a year after we award it. And part of the contract is that the contractor cannot work on the golf course from March 1 to October 1.
Okay, very good.
So this is to accommodate the project.
That should remove all the
Yes.
serious objections we have to the project. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sam, thank you.
Questions on any of the other items on the consent docket? Hearing none, voting, please. Consent docket's approved. Next item on the agenda is the concurrence docket. Number 4, there's several, or a couple of items on the concurrence docket. Do we have a motion?
Move the concurrence docket.
Do we approve the entire concurrence docket, or do we have to approve individual items?
Yeah, we can approve it in one motion, I believe.
Okay, then I would move approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the concurrence docket. Are there either matter to be discussed separately? Hearing none, voting, please. Concurrence docket's approved. Next item is easements. First item, 5A, is a temporary and permanent easement half mile north 164th to Memorial Road between Council and Rockwell.
Move approval.
A motion and a second to approve item 5A. Is there discussion? Voting, please. 5A is approved. 5B is a temporary easement on North Hefner Road, Portland Western.
Move approval.
Motion and a second to approve the easements on 5B. Are there questions? Voting, please. The improvements on 5B are approved. The next item is item 6, reports. First one is the status report.
Move we receive the reports.
Second.
Motion and a second to receive the reports. Are there comments on the first on the status report?
It really shows that the drought has hit. I mean, obviously with Draper's a separate issue, but boy, we're down roughly 3 1/4 feet to 3 1/2 feet across the board compared to where we were December of last year.
Yes, very much. Despite the snow, we're in very dry weather conditions. The snow produced no runoff for us to capture in the lakes. A large amount of snow is a relatively small amount of water on very dry land, so that probably made a lot of sense. Just a quick update on where we are with our customers. Line Maintenance handled 400 customer shutoffs over the weekend related to frozen pipes in folks' houses. I think we've handled about 600 total so far, and that's pretty much come to an end. Line break reports are starting to return to normal. The extreme cold followed by a thaw did break some pipes. We're preparing, of course, for the next storm. Just to let you know, we're refilling chemical supplies at the water treatment plants. Have been the last couple of days, getting ready for another onslaught of weather. Not expecting any major problems from our side.
On item 6B, fishing assessment. That's a request I made personally after the quarter section that it's in became available for lease for the first time in a number of years. And I appreciate the work that staff did on it. The recommendation is that we direct the staff how to proceed, and there are 3 suggestions contained in the staff report as to potential things that the Parks Department and Game and Fish thought would be something we ought to do.
And Mr. Chairman, we have not given you a full report about the Kitchen Lake Dam in your memo. I want to correct that for you. I apologize. We have inspected the dam in the past. I think we quoted in 1993 a study that was found. The most recent inspection on the dam was actually in 2008. And the report on the dam is actually fairly minor, and it's a very small dam. It has some erosion locations. We want to pursue those repairs if we decide to make this a permanent close-to-home fishing location. But that should not prohibit you from. We would just suggest that we continue with those efforts to make certain it's good and sound as a part of the total cost evaluation for this concept.
Well, the report that describes the dam as being in poor condition and recommending it be breached and the water drained was a slight exaggeration. It didn't realistically capture the situation.
Yes, and in about that time, we were going through a massive review of all the dams in the state. The rural NRCS dams were all undergoing a detailed review and many repairs found to be required. Those are dams that were built largely after the Dust Bowl. And this was considered one of those, a kind of a small farm pond sort of dam. Frankly, it doesn't fall into that category. And again, the most recent report's really a lot more favorable than what we saw in the 93 report.
So in all likelihood, we could repair the dam at a fairly reasonable expense.
Yes.
It's an interesting lake because there's hardly a vantage point at ground level that you can get to look at the lake and see it appear very large. But from the air, it's pretty good size. It's narrow and kind of winds through the area, but it's a pretty good sized lake. And I agree with the letter in here where Joe McCurry had talked about how it used to be 50 years ago or 60 years ago. I can remember it was there a long time ago. And a lot of people used to go out there and fish just for an afternoon or something. At this point, you do not believe that we need to hire an engineer. Of the 3 bullet points here, first one was to hire an engineer. Do you not believe we need to do that? You think the inspection's recent enough that we don't need to do that?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay, the second one is to defer the lease, at least until the cost estimate can be achieved. And the last one is to complete the eviction process and start the cleanup. We're going to have to do the last one, no matter what we do.
Yes, sir.
So if we have a motion to do the latter 2, I think we could.
I'm not sure there's an item on the agenda to actually be voted on. You can instruct staff on how.
Okay. All right. Would someone else like to articulate that besides me?
Well, I think our instructions ought to be to comply with or to follow the second 2 bullets here, to look at the cost of it, certainly, and then to we want to go through the eviction process anyway, and we have an obligation to clean up the property, so I don't think that it needs to be discussed at great length. And so my recommendation would be, Mr. Chairman, that we direct staff to do number 2 and 3 on these bullet points.
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second to receive the 2 reports with a recommendation by Trustee Ryan. Is there any further comment? Voting, please. Next item is item 7, series of matters to be discussed individually. The first one is a proposal from Epic Wake Park Project. Is there anyone here to speak on that matter? come forward.
My name is David Ellis. I live at 3712 Northwest 69th Terrace in the Edgewater addition, which would abut this project. In two previous committee meetings, this project was turned down, and we strongly urge you as a neighborhood association and also as all the member groups of Friends of Lake Hefner to turn down this project. It's simply the wrong place to put a project like this, and we feel that we have a master plan for Lake Hefner, and we sincerely hope that we will continue to observe that plan and take each project into consideration along with that master plan. Thank you.
Thank you. The recommendation, the staff recommendation is to reject the proposal. Is there anyone else to speak? Are you in favor of rejecting it? No. Okay, come forward.
Dale Brochet, 11612 Ashford Drive. I'm president of the Friends of Lake Hefner, and I just reiterate what Mr. Ellis said, and we'd like to thank the trust for allowing us the opportunity to speak on this matter, and let you know that the majority of our members were against this item. And again, we appreciate the opportunity, and we're here at your convenience if you ever need us for anything. This concerns recreation with Lake Hefner. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I agree with the people that is certainly not consistent with what a lot of people envisioned as the recreational opportunities at Lake Hefner. And we had the opportunity, just by chance, I think, to see a demonstration or a video this morning at City Council meeting of a wake ride, sort of like this wake, what do they call it? Anyway, a wake park project, we saw that sort of thing, and I think it would be disruptive on the fishing out there, and not necessarily a hazard, but certainly potentially could cause some difficulty. I concur wholeheartedly with the staff's recommendation that the proposal be rejected.
We have a motion.
Second. I'll move.
Motion and a second to
Reject it.
reject the
Second.
proposal. Any other comments? Proposal is rejected. Next item 7B, ratify the action of the general manager in addition to emergency purchase order for the purchase of granular activated carbon.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve item 7B. Are there comments? Voting, please. Manager's actions have been approved, ratified. At this point, I want to ask Mr. Edwards to take the chair, if you would.
Item number 7C, approve 2011 amended and restated service agreement for operations and maintenance of wastewater facilities with Veolia Water North America West, LLC, the City of Oklahoma City, and the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust. Operation and maintenance of wastewater treatment facilities, estimated annual cost $12,500,000, date of approval to December 31, 2016.
Move approval.
It's been moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. Is there any new business? Seeing there's no new business, I'll give the chair back to the chairman.
That's the last item on the regular agenda. Is there any new business? Comments from trustees, staff, citizens? We're adjourned. Thank you.